Hi there. My name is Ashwin and thank you for purchasing this course. I will share with you my journey and how I came into developing on a Windows machine with WSL, and I will also share with you more information on what this is in the future slides. So just to get started, I was primarily a Mac developer. I had an iMac and I would do coding with an extra monitor. And then I thought I would need a mobile development environment. And I wanted to have something with large real estate, screen real estate, 15 inches or higher, and the only option at the time was the MacBook Pro 15-inch, and now it's the 16-inch model at the time of this recording. So that was a pretty heavy price tag for me, and doing web development, I wasn't sure if I needed the specs that were part of that MacBook Pro offering. So the problem I had though was I Windows 10 was an option, but I wasn't familiar with setting up a dev environment. So what is WSL, or Windows Subsystem for Linux? Well, as per Microsoft, it's a new Windows 10 feature that enables you to run native Linux command line tools directly on Windows alongside your traditional Windows desktop and modern store apps. So please allow me to paraphrase in my own words, but basically to me this meant I was able to use Windows and Linux side by side without any dual boot or anything of that nature, and I thought that was a great win for me because I was already familiar with Windows 10 at work. It was stable. It had a much better user interface and experience for me than previous versions of Windows, which is why I moved to Mac in the first place. And the fact that WSL allowed me to work in Linux, and I was already familiar with setting up servers in Ubuntu on the cloud, it was a no-brainer that this would be the best fit for me. And again, as I mentioned, there's no dual boot required. If you want to know more, I shared a link in the presentation which links to the FAQ for WSL. I think you should definitely check that out. So in this course, I will have 7 modules. The first is how to activate WSL on your Windows 10 computer and install the Linux distro of your choice. Module 2 would be to install PHP, your database, web server, and other required tools in order to get Laravel working. Module 3 would be startup automation of your whole environment, because when you reboot your Windows computer, the the WSL or the Ubuntu version is not necessarily started, so you would actually have to launch that. So when you launch that, you also want to trigger all your dev environment to start up. It's a very quick process, but you want to automate that. So that's what Module 3 is all about. Module 4 is how to code with your code sitting on Windows file system, and I give you some of the caveats associated with that. Module 5 is hosting your code on the Linux file system and the caveats with that approach. I then want to go into a little bit with Module 6 on how to set up Table Plus, so it will be in your Windows operating system, but then it needs to link into your database in WSL, so on the Linux environment. So I'll detail on how to do that. And I started using Tinkerwell. I think it's great. If you don't use it for tinkering in your Laravel apps, it's a great tool by Marcel, and you should definitely check it out. And I will show you in Module 7 how to link that again with your environment, your Laravel environment in Linux.